Number 3, determine whether the graph is that of a function. If it is, use the graph to find its domain and range, the intercepts, if any, and any symmetry with respect to the x-axis, the y-axis, or the origin. So the requirement for this question is to find the domain, range. What else? We are also asked to get the intercepts, if any, so we could have x and y intercepts, and any symmetry with respect to the x-axis, the y-axis, and the origin. Now this is a very tricky question. You can see that the graph is kind of a reflection across the y-axis, and we could like have some conclusion that this one is the function, and this other function here, if there are two functions, but basically this is only one function, so this is like a hyperbola. Okay, so what do we use then to test if a given function is either a function or a relation, or meaning if the given graph is a function or a relation? We have to use the vertical line test. So let us take a look at the vertical line test. Let us use that for this function. Now we would notice that if we are going to draw a vertical line across this graph on the right, the graph that you could see, then we are certain that this graph here, or this line here, this vertical line here, will somehow cross the graph into two different points across the graph. So therefore, because it failed the vertical line test, so in essence it failed the vertical line test. And why is it so important to take a look at the vertical line test? Because the vertical line test actually defines whether a certain given graph is a function or not. So it failed the vertical line test. What does this indicate? Failing the vertical line test has two conclusions. Number one, the given graph is not a function. Is not a function. And therefore, it is also not one-to-one. But we do have our intercepts here. We have x-intercepts at, what is our x-intercepts here? So we have x is equal to -2 and +2. These are the x-intercepts. So we have -2, 0 and 2, 0. So those are our x-intercepts. What about the domain? Our domain here would be, what is our domain? We have x less than or equal to -2 and x greater than or equal to 2. So we have domain x less than or equal to -2 united with x greater than or equal to 2, or x less than equal to -2 or x greater than equal to 2. So that's our domain. Now what about our range? Our range is y, element of real numbers. Why? Because your graph extends in both directions, upward and downward. So your range is element of real numbers. But what is our symmetry? The symmetry here would lie to the y-axis. Okay, our symmetry is with respect to the y-axis. And what else? What did we forget? That's it. But remember, this is not a function. So this is a very tricky. It's a very tricky question where the answer is not a function.